Well, hey, my name is Alex Gilpin, and this is my wife, Krystin. Our objective or goal here is to just kind of tell you a little bit about our life, right? And so anyways, I guess I'll start. I grew up in Wichita, Kansas, on the east side of Wichita, almost to Andover. And right around the corner from my house, my family owned a farm supply store called Gilpin Feed. And I can remember just hanging out all the time there, climbing on the bags of feed, playing in the hay, just all of that crazy stuff. Went to church, you know. All right, so then we went through elementary, got there, and then kind of the dark moment in life, right? We went to Coleman Middle School. Nothing wrong with the school, but it was just like a dark time for me. I made a lot of poor choices in my friends. Started hanging out with guys who were really, foul-mouthed and violent. Like the way that we dealt with things was just getting really like aggressive. And it was because I was insecure and didn't like getting made fun of. And so if somebody made fun of me, I would just try to be really aggressive back to them. But I didn't realize at the time that was really causing some serious issues in my soul, for sure. But you had a lot of good friends and stuff for you, wasn't it?
Middle school was also a really dark time. I didn't really like school. I didn't have many friends at school, but the church was really kind of a safe haven for me, and that's where I had my really good friends that I knew cared about me and that.
Yeah. So we got through middle school, I guess. High school, we both went to Southeast High School just down the street, Golden Buffaloes. We took state in basketball, sophomore year, wasn't it?
Something like that.
And then we beat Derby in football, which was great. Sorry, any former Panthers out there, but we did show you guys what's up. But I always took notice of Krystin. I thought she was great, but I didn't have any idea how to ask her out or hang out. And so I remember freshman year, and I don't know if I ever told you this, so this might be kind of a truth-telling moment, but my friend Craig would call you and ask you to hang out with a friend, group, right? And I would be on the other line just listening, but I was too, spineless to actually speak up. And so
Creeper.
Craig, yeah, kind of, oh geez. And so Krystin was kind of I don't know, she's probably just thinking, Alex doesn't like me. And so we started hanging out with friends, kind of. And I remember going to your locker one day and having this moment where I was gonna put it all on the line, and by put it on the line I meant ask her out on a movie with friends. But so we did that. I remember going to your locker and asking you, and you said that'd be cool. So do you remember hanging out with all those friends?
Oh yeah, I remember it because I guess previous to this, he had thought the best way to get my attention was to completely ignore me. So I kind of thought he was a stuck-up snob.
Yeah.
And so when he started asking me to go do things, I was a little confused. I really didn't think it was that he liked me. I thought that it was a ploy to hook his friends up with some of my friends.
Yeah, so it didn't work out for a little while. But your mom always liked me.
That's right.
So
That's right.
any guys sitting out there, if you get the mom to like you, you're good to go, even if the girl doesn't like you. So it worked out. I stayed the course. I went to Friends University for the first 2 years of my college life. I'm studying music, drums and guitar. Got some great scholarships there. And where did you go?
I went my first 3 years at WSU, and didn't know what to expect. Wasn't sure what going to college was going to be like, still living at home, but I had a great time. Lots of friends stayed in town, and we just had a lot of fun.
Yeah, so after 2 years, Krystin and I had this talk about our relationship, if it was going to continue or not, and because I was getting ready to go to Manhattan Christian College, I wanted to study ministry. That summer, when I was 20 years old, I met this missionary guy at a camp I was playing drums at, and he challenged me with what I'm passionate about, and I didn't have a good answer for him. I was just kind of treading water through life, and it really bothered me that I wasn't passionate about anything. And through that I remember praying, God, please put something in me that would drive me the rest of my life. And he started this desire to use my musical gifts for the glory of God in the church. So I went to MCC to study music, but really Bible. And Kristen and I had this conversation that if we were going to stay together, it would be evident, right? But we were going to be 2 hours apart.
I just remember thinking, okay, either this is going to be it and we're going to stay together and get married, or this is going to end and now we may not see each other again.
And we'd be 2 hours apart, so it's not like we would run into each other, right? And so I went to MCC, had a great time there, but I came back about every other weekend because it was evident right away that I wanted to be with Kristen, and so that was cool.
Yeah, I remember realizing that he really was my best friend, and I just couldn't wait to talk to him and just tell him all the things that were going on in my life and get to go up and visit. And
yeah. So that's where I fell in love with Chipotle, because there was one right down the street, and that is like the flag store right there in Manhattan, Kansas. Like the last 2 months of being in Manhattan, I ate at Chipotle every day. I had no breakfast, I had ramen noodles for lunch, and then I had a burrito for dinner with free chips and salsa because my roommate had a coupon card. And so finished there, came back, got engaged, and I did not like being engaged because it's like a preview to a movie. Like, you know, it's no good, like, right? Like, I just wanted to be married, and so we got married in 2006.
August 5th.
Yeah. We rented for 5 months and then bought a house. And
got a puppy too.
We got a puppy, yeah, and she was really tiny. A little Boston Terrier puppy. She was like this big when we got her. Her name's Macy. And so we had a great time with that. We got into youth ministry. There was a job opening at Countryside to do that, and that was crazy cool. Like, we really grown up.
It was a big surprise because we really didn't know that was going to happen prior to getting married. We didn't know where we were going to be.
Yeah, I had no idea what I was going to do. And so we've been in youth ministry for the last 7 years, coming up on that. And that's been so cool. Like, we've learned so much about how to work with young people, but more like us, you know, like more about where our heart is in following after God. And so taking about a year ago, I guess I had a prayer in my heart that was just, God, I'm comfortable in my faith, and I need you to shake it up, just because of some of the stuff I was going through. And he kind of put this heart in me to do something different in ministry. And so at the beginning of this year, I started looking into church planting. And I remember coming to you with this, like I was gung-ho, this is it, this is what we've been praying and waiting for. And it was kind of out of the blue for you. And so it was probably fairly unfair for me to do that. So I remember back in March, we went to a thing called Assessment, way out in, is it Tennessee?
Or in North Carolina.
North Carolina, Tennessee border, somewhere in there. And basically you spend a weekend where they just look into you and really try to figure out if you're a good fit to start a new church. And they loved Kristen.
They loved you.
No, they put up with me.
No.
And they loved Kristen. And so they had good things to say, and they were affirming of us to go ahead and pursue that. But then Kristen and I were on the same page for sure. Put our house on the market.
Sold in 6 days.
6 days. So that was kind of crazy, putting the house that we love up for sale and letting it go. But man, we're just people who've learned to follow God through the church and through our life. Not perfect, but man, we're convinced that Jesus is everything and makes all the difference.